Yeah, I really should do something about that intro. It's got a bunch of footage that I don't know if I like anymore. The same song that I used for, I don't know, 4 seasons ago and all this other stuff. Cody's not here with us, although I will say tonight's the night. Joining me, welcome. We're talking about Dexter Resurrection, the upcoming season. I am Charles, otherwise known as CPO, and joining me tonight is JDev of JDevTV. Jay, how are you, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm not Cody, but certainly Cody does call me the Dexter fanatic, so that's a plus, I guess. And yes, I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about Dexter or rehash all the other things that I've already talked about millions of times before. But we have a trailer recently that I haven't really talked a lot about, so I'm excited to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me. And I don't think the intro is, I know you're a perfectionist when it comes to intros to a degree. I like your intros. I like them all. So to me, it's amazing, just to give you a heads up.
I appreciate it. I could have updated because I have original sin stuff in there, and I don't know technically if, just for thematic purposes, I really wish I had taken some footage from this trailer and made it seem a bit more in tune. But I appreciate the compliment, but I'm a bit more in my own head about it. To the chat, what's going on? Ryan, Sean, Kyle Rust with a movie rental subscription, our membership. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Movie thoughts, asking about House of Wax remake or Prom Night. We will field questions later on. Thank you for the question, but we will get to that a little bit later. For right now, we're going to be talking about Dexter and the upcoming season, Resurrection, which airs on the 11th of July, which is an odd time for television in general. Normally, you don't get television dropping in the summer, but it is what it is. We're getting our second season of Dexter content within a calendar year, which is wild to me. So this is picking up where New Blood left off. I guess the first thing we'll talk about is, JDev, how did Dexter leave off as far as New Blood is concerned with you?
Well, truthfully, initially, I didn't mind it. Maybe it was a recency bias. I obviously have my issues with episode 2, Storm of Fuck, where apparently Hannah McKay dies off screen. Have to mention that I like the first episode. I like the 5th episode where we get the cameo from Angel, and then the 9th episode with them taking care of Kurt Caldwell. And by the way, spoilers, if you haven't seen Dexter yet, you probably shouldn't be in this stream.
Yeah.
I thought the finale was good until, of course, the ridiculous ending with the brat kid Harrison, who nobody really likes from this season. Kills Dexter. I initially gave the episode a 9.0 out of 10. I hate to say that because I know how you and Cody, you kind of have similar thoughts, but didn't think it was that good.
Don't judge me on how I feel. It's your feelings. It's fine. They're yours.
But upon a rewatch of the whole season and thinking about it after it initially aired, I hate it for the most part.
The entire season.
When seeing it live, the finale, while there's moments that seem like it's a finale, you have this Angel's on the way, Dexter's just laying there, and they're making you think he's gonna all of a sudden like get up or something, and then it has this song and Harrison drives off, and like I didn't think that was the end, because to me it wasn't definitive, because I was promised Angel, at least from what I was led to believe, and he doesn't show up. Now maybe this is Clyde Phillips' genius way of, remember he said the ending will break the internet. Maybe that was the intended ending all along, where, we're actually bringing him back. We just want to piss people off for a couple of years. I don't know. But from what I've heard, Michael C. Hall contacted Clyde Phillips. He's like, you know what? Bring me back. Dexter's in my blood. He's in your blood. How can we make it work? But New Blood, I felt like I'm going to go on and on about stuff.
I have an answer to that question. Call Melissa Rosenberg. Call Melissa Rosenberg. That's how you give it a whirl at the very least, because everybody talks about Clyde Phillips. Nobody talks about Melissa Rosenberg, because she left after season 4 too. Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, interrupt me as much as you want, because I'll just keep talking. I felt like the show had, for the most part, underdeveloped characters where you could have cared more about them, but like Angela, we know Angela does Google searches and finds out things that nobody else can find out. I feel like Frank Lundy would have found it out, but you didn't get a chance to. I think Logan was a good character, but what do we really know about Logan other than he had brought over Harrison food? And then Harrison kills his father, if that's really Harrison. Just a thought that I might have. He kills his father over a coach that he just met within the last month. Like, I don't know.
But it gave him like serious dad vibes, so everything is right there. So it can only go up as far as you're concerned. Kind of undoing that season and moving forward from there is a net positive, I would assume, for you.
Personally, I don't understand why Clyde Phillips just didn't start over after season 4. I'm surprised that he kept Deb, spoiler alert, dead. Either started after season 4 or just started after season 7 and erase what people hate about season 8. The season 8 Defender here. Don't love it, but I like it more than most. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know about that already.
Yeah, I'm sure, like literally any season but 8. If you just said, all right, let's pick it up after 5, let's pick it up after 6, let's pick it up after 7. Like, I think a lot of people are on board with any of those decisions. Like, okay, let's try again. It's a weird choice. I'll say, if you redo the finale, I think I'm way more favorable on New Blood, because I feel like it was a good direction for as far as I'm concerned. I like the fact that it wasn't a new kill every week. It was more one kill, a miss opportunity with the drug dealer guy. It was more like contained, and it felt local to this upstate New York town thing that, like, yeah, it's a small town, so of course, like, word gets around fast, so why would you, be a serial killer up there? But the way everything just totally accelerates in the last, 20 minutes of that season finale, it doesn't make sense, because once you start thinking about just how methodical Dexter's been for, even at its worst in earlier seasons, he's still methodical. The fact that, like, he knows that she's, when Allison goes to check Kurt's house or the shack or shed or whatever the hell it is, he knows what she's going to find. So you know that she will see that there's a bunch of corpses there. So wouldn't that earn you some sort of goodwill? So why would you go ahead and not wait for her to come back and be like, oh, wow, what's going on there? You're right. But instead he just kills the other cop and takes off. And, like, what was the rush? I don't understand any of that. So the fact that Michael C. Hall in interviews has said, well, when I think it was a night show discussion where they were asking him, well, how is Dexter still alive? And he's like, well, it's cold really ground. Yeah. Okay. So I'll segue from that into the trailer clues. And if you haven't seen any trailers, some vague spoilers, but hey, I'm assuming you'll get these at some point, if not the first episode, the second episode. So what they give you in at least 1 or 2 trailers, I don't know how many there are out there, but you get this payoff. I don't know. Angel meets up with Dexter, and it seems like they're in a hospital setting. So I have questions. Is Angel the one who got Dexter and brought him into a hospital? And, like, I'm curious to see how they connect the ending of New Blood to whatever the hell they showed us in the trailer. But the way the trailer's played out is Angel's asking Dexter about some of his past. I notice you've been saying spoilers before, J-Dev, so I'll try to avoid the reveal from the trailer. And the way the trailer is cut is Dexter takes off and heads to New York City, which it's cut weird.
I think that's misdirection.
I hope so. I really do. Because it's weird.
That was always, when we saw the beginning of Original Sin, I always wondered, okay, who's the one that takes Dexter to the hospital? Obviously, for those that don't know, as of this moment, they have not confirmed Angela Bishop for Resurrection. Does that mean she won't be in it at all? Not necessarily, but I find it weird that she hasn't been confirmed. But the dumbest character in Dexter history, or one of the dumbest, especially from New Blood, Teddy, has been confirmed. So I'm guessing he is the one, or somebody comes back and takes care of Angela. Now, who that would be? Maybe Harrison comes back and kills Angela. I don't know. I'm getting into probably stuff we'll already talk about later, but that was something I always wondered. Somebody's driving the Iron Lake police car or police, more, it's not necessarily car, SUV to the hospital, and that's something that puzzles me.
That'd be a bummer if it was Teddy. Like, he had 6 lines.
I because of all the disappointment that I've had with New Blood, maybe not initially, but there were obviously episode 2 really pissed me off. I wouldn't be surprised if that's our answer, just because it makes the most sense, actually, unless it's Angela. So yeah, I don't know. It would be a letdown, though, that's for sure.
So the other element of the trailer for this upcoming Resurrection season is after there's a discussion in a hospital type setting, Dexter appears to escape to New York City. And it's kind of odd. One of the shots they show you, he's now in the trailer that I saw, Uma Thurman is setting up some sort of meeting between Dexter and a really rich man who likes serial killers.
He has an obsession with serial killers. Leon Prater, played by Peter Dinklage.
See, you remember names better than I do. I appreciate you with the save.
I'm good with character names, that's for sure. Otherwise known as Tyrion from Game of Thrones.
Yep. I have not finished Game of Thrones, so even it's Tyrion. Yeah,
another bad ending.
Yeah, another reason why I'm not going. So, granted, like you said earlier, it could be misdirection. But what I got from it is, like, is Dexter going to be like one of these Avengers of serial killers that this super rich dude just likes hanging with? Or is he going to set up some sort of Hunger Games thing where serial killers have to square off with one another? Like, I don't think if there was a really rich man and you were to get Ted Bundy and, like, all of these notorious serial killers in the same room, like, I don't know if that would be like a party type atmosphere. But on its face, I'm really skeptical of what they're trying to do there. What did you take from that portion of the trailer?
I think it's possible that Dexter is working. I mean, this is something that's been discussed, so this shouldn't be any surprise. Kind of a Silence of the Lamb thing, Silence of the Lambs, where he's working for the feds. Because there's scenes where he's not necessarily in those scenes, but there's parts where he's photographed in the park wearing a suit. And I think at some point that's going to be what happens, although I don't know for sure. I don't really know what to expect for this show because I have to be cautiously optimistic about what they've done in the past, because while there's some things I like, most of it pisses most of people other than me off. And I don't know. Everything I want to happen, I feel like won't happen, because that's just them saying, nope, we're not going to appease you. So
they're doing it with everyone. I hope you know that.
Yeah. I think they've confirmed this, but I'm not 100% sure that the scenes with Angel and Dexter take place right away.
Yeah.
I would guess that maybe that happens toward the end of the season, possibly, but it might have been confirmed that scene will happen in the first episode.
Well,
something about a beating heart or something like that, whatever it's called.
He's got to be alive. Like, you got to get him from dead on the ground to alive. So how are you doing that, especially with Angel heading up to where Dexter was?
And why, I don't understand that. Like, Angels, when Angela with her Google searches, contacted Batista seemed pretty dead set, like, God damn it, that mother, he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, has a good indication, but yet doesn't seem like he's on the run really, other than leaving the hospital to get away from Angel, if that's really the case, or it's just a misdirection. But hopefully they have good answers for everything on that, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I brought it up in the recent past, that I would be a bit more open to the idea of Dexter being something of a tool for, like if he gets arrested and there's like this trade off, like, we won't give you the death penalty, but you're going to have to help us catch other killers, and you'll have some variation of freedom, but you got to help us. I wouldn't hate that idea too much. I mean, like you said, something like Silence of the Lambs, like, but I'm just not open to it, just outright. Like, you got to finesse me a little bit into that.
Got to build up to it,
right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, and he's alive, and now he's on the FBI side, and everything's okay, and like, have some sort of conflict, please. So Angel is definitely in the trailer. I think they show Harry in the trailer.
Briefly.
As far as familiar faces in the Dexter lexicon, who do you think and who do you know are coming back for Resurrection?
Okay, if anybody doesn't want to be spoiled, mute your TV, whatever you have to do. I'll count to 10 if I can count that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So obviously we know Dexter, we know Harrison, unfortunately, Batista, Harry, we know the idiot cop Teddy, which makes me mad. It was already confirmed that John Lithgow is the Arthur Mitchell Detroit killer, Miguel Prado. James Dokes, I believe, was confirmed. His hand, I believe, is in one of the trailers. If you like make the screen bigger, you can see like his going like that or something like that, apparently.
Wow. Okay, so people are really going piece by piece with this.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer like on a smaller screen, you won't see it. But apparently, and I believe they did confirm, Clyde Phillips did confirm that Dokes is back. Now, I want these characters that are coming back to mean something. I don't want it just to be quick fan service. Like, here you go, here's Dokes. Okay, next thing. Mm-hmm. I want him to be a focal point. Now, for those of you that have been familiar with my Dexter fandom and videos that I've done regarding Dexter, before I saw a trailer, before I knew a lot about Resurrection, I think even before Resurrection came out, I had said something about I want Dexter to talk to multiple people throughout the season, whether it be Harry, Deb, anybody, and have many conversations with them. And I think Dokes would be a really good person to like interact with, because their interactions on season 1 and season 2 were some of the best television, in my opinion. Now, it wasn't quite season 4 level, but their interactions were the best part of Dexter. Well, for the most part, you got to count Brian though too, but their interactions.
That tail end
were great.
Of season 2 is incredible. The last 4 or 5 episodes, it's great.
Some people don't appreciate season 2. They made a mistake by killing Dokes off. They should have kept him around, and it's what they wanted to do. And then season 3, that's why I don't like season 3. I'm one of the people that's ranked season 3 at the bottom, not at the bottom. It goes 6, New Blood, and then season 3. Sometimes I flip-flop 8 and 3 because I know everybody else likes season 3, but I think because it's sandwiched in the 2 best seasons of Dexter, like it just doesn't work for me. Like, it's boring. I think Miguel's good, but like I just don't like to rewatch it. You got the Skinner character that I always forget his name, George
the Skinner.
King?
Yeah.
King George something.
I think it is George King. Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I would
usually
say,
I forget his name.
I would say 3, like I used back when it was only 8 seasons, it was a tale of 2 halves, 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. And I would always say that 3 was probably the least strong in that first half chunk. So it's not that far fetched for me. When you start putting season 5 above it is where I get a little antsy, but it's not that far-fetched an opinion.
I think it was more entertaining. And you have to get used to Quinn. So I had to get used to Quinn instead of Dokes, which at first I didn't like Quinn, but he grew on me a bit. So
yeah, he was a different character in 3 than he was in later seasons. That's for sure.
Yeah. But back to all the characters here. I didn't get finished with everything. Christian, I can always forget how to. Camargo, who played Brian Moser, is coming back. That's again another character that I hope actually means something. He's not just in it for 5 seconds and then done. And then you have other characters that are new to the show that have already been confirmed, and I'm sure we'll talk about them separately. But those are the big ones that were in Dexter before. There's obviously characters missing that I want to see. Don't know if I'll get to see them or not, but I mean, if some things happen in the show, some of these characters, we need to see their reaction. If Dexter is announced as a killer to the news people. We need to see the reaction of Aster and Cody. We need to see what
Oh,
Masuka and Quinn think about this. We need to see if Matthews is still alive, what he thinks about it. Because honestly, I'm one of those people that think Matthews knew all along, possibly, but we need to see their
yeah.
reaction
There
if
always
they're going to go that route.
there always was that like gray area because when things got tight there towards the end, season 7, season 8, Matthews was a little ignorant or voluntarily ignorant, should I say? He's some splaining to do there for Matthews, but I didn't think about that perspective. Like, yeah, if word gets out that not only did Dexter Morgan fake his death, but he was alive and then re-murdered, that would be. I'd like to know what some of the characters we've grown to love, hate, grow feelings for. How would they handle the information? I can't help but think with the way that they've been using visions of Harry and Deborah in New Blood. I'm wondering if he's just going to have these moments with these key characters that he happened to eliminate, for lack of a better term, even though he didn't technically eliminate Dokes. I'm wondering if it's something more than that, or if it's just like I don't know, a thing that we're seeing play out, but it's actually happening in his head because most of them are dead. We did see Brian in season 6. He had an episode where they were just kind of, instead of
So
Harry. Sorry?
that's when they went to Nebraska, isn't it? And
Yeah, when they went after.
Jonah Mitchell.
Yep. Yeah, right. When they went after Harry's. No, not Harry. Yes, Jonah Mitchell. I was trying to say his father's name. Arthur's son. Yeah, so is that it for your list of people who are coming back, Jada?
Well, the ones that have been confirmed, hopefully there's others that come back. Like I'd mentioned, the ones that we need to see reaction. I mean, obviously, Lumen Pierce would be somebody that a lot of people want to see back. We haven't got told that she's been killed off screen yet. So, I felt like they had some good chemistry, and then she just wanted to leave and, only was with Dexter to deal with her, her issues. And now that all the people that were responsible for her, abduction and her SA, or I think it was SA, maybe it wasn't quite that, but whatever.
Yeah, it would fall into that category.
Yeah.
I would say.
So now that they're all gone, Jordan Chase and Cole Harmon and all the rest of them, okay, I don't need you anymore. I feel like if Clyde Phillips and everybody wants to really get fan service, and I think it could mean something, I think we need to see Lumen Pierce, maybe not right away, maybe for future seasons of the show, but that's definitely that's something that they need to do. If they don't have it already in mind, they definitely need to do that if it's not already scheduled to happen in this season.
Yeah, she did have the most, safe departure where she was alive and knows the secret, where usually people who know Dexter's secret, there's some sort of severance between the characters. And Lumen is the one that, got away scot-free. So, yeah, I guess if there's one that you can kind of bring back organically, it'd be her. So maybe they have that in their back pocket. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I didn't think about it. But, yeah, seeing all these people's reactions and how they would handle the information. I mean, someone... If it is something like a news story that they say, Dexter, who faked his death, is actually alive and was reshot, it would be interesting and make sense for Lumen to be the person that brings him back because, they have that little secret together and she can bail him out. I don't know. Lumen is the only one who was saved, loved, and helped by Dexter. I agree. If there's an organic way to bring someone back from the past that isn't like a vision or whatever, Lumen is alive. So, again, if you make it feel organic, I'm behind it. It's just making it.
We know that Clyde Phillips, like what Crazy Coffee Man said in the comments section, we know that Clyde Phillips doesn't like to acknowledge anything after season 4. So, will it happen? Probably not, but it should happen. If you really want to make this show, give the things that should happen, that would make the most sense. I think we need to see Lumen Pierce back and Dexter, but I'm skeptical. I don't think it will happen, but it should happen.
Yeah. You could have her do a cameo too. If you don't want her to be back, you can have her like do him one favor as like, all right, now we're even or something like that. I don't know. Again, it's not just characters when you're doing stuff like this. It's actors. We kind of talked about it before we went live. There's possibly a thing with Ivan Strahovski. So like, usually when a character gets killed off screen, sometimes that means something's happening with the actual human being and the actors. So sucks, but it happens.
I think it's just that Clyde Phillips didn't want her back. I think that because he didn't know her. I mean, that was a Scott Book thing, and I'm sure Scott Reynolds worked with her too because he had roles. I think that's maybe she. I think from what my understanding is, and this might not be 100% accurate, when they were filming New Blood, she was pregnant, like far along, and maybe that. But apparently, she wasn't even asked to come back.
You could shoot her like this. You just have a body double from the bottom from the middle down.
I know, and I don't see him in the comments section, but I know Jacob, I think he's a
Jacob Cornthos, yeah.
He hates Hannah McKay, and that's fine. If bring Hannah back to actually kill her off properly, if you're going to bring her back, kill her off. That way there's definitive. Well, Dexter died definitively, but now he's back. So, I mean, bring her back to give fan service to the people that hate Hannah. Like, and that's okay. If somebody hates Hannah, that's completely fine. If we all felt the same about every character in the world, it would be a really boring place.
Preach.
So, but I also want Lubin back too. But I felt like it just seemed weird. And I'm going all over the place here. I'm sorry. I like to talk about a bunch of different things. But this, episode 2 of Dexter New Blood, Storm of Fuck, Harrison, he doesn't really have a lot of emotion, which we know Dexter sometimes doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's like, Hannah died. Pancreatic cancer. Like, was that true? Is he just saying that? Like, it just seemed kind of like nonchalant. Like, yeah, Hannah's dead. Like, this is somebody that Harrison grew up with for at least 7-8 years, maybe longer, and like he didn't get emotional about it. Dexter, Hannah's dead. But Harrison,
the issue with Harrison's character, just outright, especially in New Blood. Throughout the seasons, really, especially in the earlier seasons of Dexter, like you experience him being a sociopath. There are moments where, like, he doesn't know how to be a human, but he's trying. Like, there are times, like when he's dating Rita, and he's like, "Do you want a hug?" And she's like, "What?" Like he says things that like he doesn't have those feelings, but he understands that humans have those feelings. Like if you have that sociopath, gene pool thing going down to Harrison, make it a bit more, do the work and have us experience that he's also like that. But in New Blood, he's like such a moody bitch where if he doesn't have that, I don't know, remorse, sadness, depression, but he also has, I don't know, this angsty, bitchy, moody shit, it does take away from the fact that, he walked or hitchhiked all the way up from South America, and he's got no feelings about that. Like it is weird. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I'm going to be there the second the thing's available. So like, who's the moron? Me? I think I am the moron regardless. But
and I have a wild thing, and I've been saying this since the end of New Blood that's not really Harrison. Probably reach in there, but because the end scene with that song playing and Harrison reading Dexter's note to him, or note to Hannah, I should say. I got to bring up Hannah at least 1,000 times, otherwise it's not a true Dexter stream. And you can see Yvonne. That is Yvonne Strahovski behind me there, even though that doesn't really. That's a younger poster of her.
Both of them, behind your head there.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, no, definitely not. I just felt like we would prefer, and I know Crazy Coffee Man in the comment section, we want Jaden Wells back. I don't know what he's doing now. The Dexter from season 8 that likes to fall on the treadmill. I don't know. It's a wild theory. It probably isn't the case, but is that really Harrison? Or maybe Harrison killed Hannah and he's really evil or something like that. It's reaching, but I mean, from what I know, this was supposed to be the end of Dexter. New Blood was supposed to be it, so they didn't really think of what could happen next. But now I think, unless this was their plan all along, the possibilities are endless. Now, will they capitalize on that? Probably not. They'll probably give us some. I don't know. I got to be negative about it because I haven't really been like blown away by Dexter lately. But I don't know. I don't think that's really Harrison, but that's probably Harrison now. But initially, I was pretty certain that that wasn't him.
Problem is that's really creative. Like I think the idea is unique, but considering that they didn't foresee that New Blood was going to be the most watched show on Showtime, I think they were like, yeah, let's do the ending proper. I don't know if they were thinking a step ahead, let alone 2 or 3. But it's creative. I mean, it's an outlet that they've incidentally left an opening for. As far as the tone and style of Resurrection, do you think they're going to be going back to the tone and the style of seasons 1 through 8, or is it going to be more like something like New Blood 2?
I think it's going to be a combination of both of them. Like they'll try to make it as Miami as possible, but it'll still have elements of New Blood because we're in New York, we're not in Florida. So obviously, New York is you're from New York, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, it's can't be what Florida is. So I would like them to go back to Miami, and I hope eventually they do go back to Miami. But I think it will at least be more similar to what happened in Miami versus the kind of very grounded Dexter New Blood that had some cool things, but ultimately looking back on it, I'm not a fan. It's ranked number 9 right now in my 10 seasons ranking. If only I didn't hate season 6 as much as I hate that, New Blood would be in last place.
Wow.
But yeah, I know some people. I think one of my fans on my channel, Vinny, likes season 6 the most, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't, but I'm glad that you like it. I just didn't like.
How do you get there? How do you get through all of that in like 6? There it is. That's my favorite. You like what you like.
Yeah.
All the respect in the world, but watching all of that, how do you get to season 6 and be like, oh, they finally nailed it this time?
I have to go back in my comment section to read what was wrote, but like I think I like the. I don't know if you said I like the Colin Hanks. I like Edward James Olmos. I like their dynamic. I like how I like how it looked. Okay. I don't remember what was said.
Listen, we're all different. Like you said, it makes it fun and interesting. So
it is very interesting. When somebody says season 6 is their favorite, I'm like, huh? Really? Okay. I don't see it. That's my least favorite. I don't know if me personally, the whole religious aspect of it, I don't really care for. Maybe because I don't know a lot about it. That
in the chat, Crazy Coffee Man saying season 5 is his favorite.
He loves Lumen Pierce. He loves Lumen Pierce. So he defends season 5, and I don't hate season 5. That's like middle of the road for me.
Missed opportunity for me.
I think it should have ended how season 6 ended. Just like I think you, Cody, have said before, where Deb should have caught Lumen and Dexter in the act, and then had to make a decision right then and there. She was, all for this vigilante helping this person that was, potentially essayed by these people.
Yeah, they got really greedy with those cliffhangers for a bit there, and that's what really frustrated me. Like, oh, Deb almost finds out. No, now Deb actually finds out. Now Deb's actually going to kill one of the co-workers. Like, all right, slow down. How much Walking Dead are you actually watching, guys? So I think what works with the backdrop and the tone of Miami is it's so colorful. They lean so hard into the bright, vibrant colors of Miami, and it's a dark comedy. It juxtaposed against something like a serial killer. Like it really worked. Where I think logistically they had to tone it down for New Blood because why would it be vibrant? He's hiding out essentially, and it's just small little town. But in New York, you can kind of find a way to lean into the extravagance of things. I don't know if you could do so with the color, because from what I've seen, it looks like it was definitely filmed in the winter. New York City isn't what I would call bright in the winter months. So, if they do some sort of hybrid, I guess if he's in the city at night, like Times Square, it gets really kind of obnoxiously hideous and bright. It depends. I preferred the tone of New Blood because of the environment. I think I said this earlier. The fact that it wasn't a kill every week, a big bad every 2 or 3 weeks, because it was such a small town. If one person gets offed, the rest of the small little neighborhood's going to find out. You can't do that for New York City. Like, I don't know of a way that you can replicate that tone in something like Manhattan, where there's like 10 million people on that island. I don't think that's going to work. You're going to have to. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 times larger than Miami, so you've got to go back to the extravagance factor. But I'm nervous because of the serial killer Avengers that they've had in the trailer. Again, I'll hold proper judgment until this thing plays out properly. But I'm nervous. Please give me a blanket and tell me it's going to be all right, is what I'm saying.
With their track record in the past, it had things really been all right since the end of season 4. I mean, there's good things that happen throughout this series, but for everybody to be on board, I think season 4 was like the best. Everybody really agreed on everything, and then it's kind of mixed. Like, some people love season 5, some people think, oh, it's okay, but it's toward the bottom of my ranking. But I don't know. I hope it's going to be good. I hope they have a good idea. I hope they have it planned out to last as long as it needs to last. Like, they've got 3 seasons in mind right now, but they can continue it as long as people like it and it continues to be a success. Michael C. Hall, you better sign up until you're 90 years old, because you ain't getting away from this role anymore.
I think what's frustrating to honest Dexter fans is there's always a moment in each season where it's like, oh my God, this is why I love this show. And if we're being honest, lately they've had more of these, what'd you do that for? Like, what is that? And that's like the most frustrating part. And it seems like when it matters most, they do something where it's, when they're closing a season out, it's like, why did you do that? You're supposed to wrap the show up and this is what you do? Okay. Crazy Cough Man says, I want a perfect series. That said, I have reservations on Clyde's mindset. I think so.
He needs to get over his hatred of what happened after he left the show. He left, I think he left on his own. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So, that's on him. If he wanted to continue it, he should have stayed on. If he wanted to make it his Dexter, he should have stayed on. So he needs to be more open to what happened after he left and bring back Lumen and Hannah McKay.
And bring back Melissa Rosenberg. Let's see who the real star of those first 4 seasons were. That's all I'm saying. Clyde Phillips gets a lot of credit. And when you look at this is a video idea that I've had, that if you go back and look at the writing credits for Melissa Rosenberg, where she's the story by and things, some of those, there's a lot of drama in those episodes and a lot of punch to the ones that Rosenberg gets the credit for. All I'm saying, I could be wrong, but I think there's smoke. I'm not claiming there's fire, but there's something there. As far as moving forward, something that I've had issue with, it's constantly being compared to Breaking Bad because they closed out at the same time. One series did things a certain way, and most people would argue is how you end an anti-hero, and then there's Dexter. Do you think moving forward from here out, is Dexter still this like dark protagonist that we're like, rooting for, even though he's doing some terrible things? Or are they finally going to lean into making Dexter an antagonist?
I'm not exactly sure what route they're going to go. They could always say that Logan is still alive. Just seem kind of, I know they said he was dead when Harrison was passing by the police station. They said something about him dying, but that's, they could say, oh wait, no, we got a pulse now.
Yeah,
it just seemed it seemed kind of a weird scene, like for Logan to just die like that. But if he's really dead, that's a problem. Because he's a very innocent person that didn't do anything wrong that we know of. So it would be interesting to have Dexter be a true antagonist, like Walter White was after what happened with Jane. I think that's when Walt truly turned into
that whole last season is just a bad descent into him being a worse and worse human being.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a pretty phenomenal ending. Like Vince, I always said after New Blood, like, Vince Gilligan, are you available to redo Dexter? I thought Breaking Bad as the best finale of all time. It's not quite my favorite one. I just got finished watching Lost. No spoilers right now because I know Crazy Coffee Man's watching Lost for the first time.
Oh.
I love the Lost finale.
Ooh.
Yeah. So but Breaking Bad's a definite close second, and it would be interesting to see Dexter as a true antagonist and like a manhunt for Dexter Morgan, but I don't know how long they can go on with that though.
Yeah, I mean, it only seems natural. Again, using the parallel to Breaking Bad and how well, I'm not saying you have to do Breaking Bad just absolutely the same, but how well they had that slow burn of Walter White just becoming worse and worse a human being, while involuntarily so at most of the points. And Ozymandias, that episode is just, I think that's the best episode. It's just so devastating. And I genuinely believe that Walt doesn't, well, all right, different show. Considering how much Dexter has cost so many people that he cares about, like, it should matter a bit more to him. Like, most of your family is dead. Your sister's dead. Your wife is dead. Your estranged thing, whatever the fuck you call Hannah. Like, there are so many people that he's cost. Yes, I understand he's a sociopath, but if he's doing things for specific reasons, shouldn't there be some sort of emotional repercussions? Like, if he doesn't give a shit, why should I?
I just know that right now Dexter is following the code, and rule number one of the code is don't get caught.
Yeah.
So that's him. Okay, I can't get caught, so I have to kill Officer Logan. I don't know. Yeah, he needs to. I think something crazy is going to happen at the end of the season, and I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that something's going to happen at the end of the season. And we'll get into that when the time is. I think maybe that time is coming up any second now. But
in a little bit.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a big bad for this season? Do we have an overarching enemy for Resurrection?
It was announced that Leon Prater, Peter Dinklage, was the big bad, but that's kind
not
of
a bad
funny.
choice.
Big bad. But it doesn't seem like he's a killer, though. He's just a guy that's fascinated by killers. I also read somewhere that Red, who is played by Mark Menchaca, who was, have you ever seen Ozark?
I have not.
Okay, then you might not be familiar with him. When they were reading the newspaper about the dark passenger in the trailer, that's referring to him potentially, which would mean he might be the more bigger bad of the season. But then you can have Neil Patrick Harris's character, Eric Stonestreet's character, David Dastmalchian's character, or even Kristen Ritter's character, which I think they're probably only going to be in a limited amount of time, but I don't know. Or maybe ultimately Harrison is really the big bad of this season.
Yeah.
I think that all the scenes with him are misdirection, where he's just like, you make it think that he's cutting up body parts where he's not, but
yeah, he works at a restaurant.
Could be.
I know Steve Sherpa from The Sopranos is announced, and if he's anything but a mobster, I'd be shocked. I'm going to assume he's like a mob boss, and that is his serial killer thing. They're going to lean directly into it. If they don't, I literally will be shocked. But considering how many tropes they're leaning into with this serial killer thing, like Eric Stonestreet is very much looking like inspired by real life stuff. And Kristen Ritter and David Dastmalchian are brother and sister. Is that right?
I did not hear that, so
Oops.
That's news to me.
I
don't care about spoilers.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember where I heard it. But that was something I was like, oh, I don't want that. But yeah, if you have this many serial killers, that there's a lot of, as far as television series are concerned, there's a lot of big names that you're bringing to this. I'm wondering if maybe they have a a big bad every week. And I don't know how I feel about that if that were to be the case.
I think I agree with you. I want there to be a true big bad, not a bunch of bads. But I don't know. They've said something about these characters. They might not all be done after this season, and some of them will come back. So we'll see what they got cooked up. Probably something bad, but who knows? Maybe Clyde Phillips will actually get some creativity.
Dice says, "Why do I feel like they might have Dismalchian as a red herring? He's already done the whole suspected of nefarious shit, but turns out to be innocent, but
Prisoners.
just messed up." Yeah, they are not ones to stray away from tropes, so that wouldn't be too surprising. Like, I don't want to give them any credit until they do something, but yeah, I don't know. I guess moving forward, what do you hope to see in this upcoming?
Well, we already know my thing I want the most.
Hannah.
McKay. And if Hannah can, and I mean, it's easy to bring Hannah back. He's talking to everybody else, so you should talk to Hannah, assuming that's what happens. I mean, if Hannah has to be a ghost, I'll mark out. If I'm going to probably record my reaction live, but only use clips if something big happens. If Hannah, I mean, obviously I already know ahead of time that Dokes is coming back, but that'll be a mark out moment for me too, because Dokes is, I mean, Hannah, Dokes, Dexter, and Lundy are my top 4 favorite characters on Dexter.
Oh, Lundy.
Like, I liked Lundy a lot. I know his relationship with Deborah was weird, but I just really liked Special Agent Grandpa. I liked Lundy.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I felt like he was the proper, the proper lifespan of Lundy should have been him being one of Dexter's villains at some point. Like, he figures out that whatever. but I agree with you. What do you hope for in Resurrection?
Maybe we'll have his old boss, Max Griffin, I believe his name was, come back. Jonathan Banks was in Dexter, if you don't remember.
Sure. Speaking of Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah, a couple episodes. Maybe he'll come back. And I had a weird, this was after New Blood, right after it, I had this video that wasn't structured, where I just talked about a lot of random things. And I had a theory where Max Griffin, Dexter's locked up. He's like, yeah, we want you to work with us. And I had a theory that I erased everything that happened at the end of season 2 and brought Dokes back, and then just had a trial go out through the whole show. And Dokes was going to work with Dexter and be his commanding officer and all. It was weird, but yeah, I brought Max. I think his name was Griffin. It might be wrong, but Max for sure.
The chat,
Banks.
I don't know if this is good or bad. I give chat so much more credit than the actual people who are responsible for writing these things, because Crazy Coffee Man says Lundy had a daughter. Could she be tracking Dexter? And then T. Parker Evans says, I hope to see Rita again. Oh yeah, Rita. I've seen interviews where she's just outright said that she was disappointed that she was offed. So you know she'll come back for at least a cameo. She was in season 4, so she was in the Clyde Phillips era. What's the excuse there?
You would think she'll be back, but we haven't heard anything. And if Harrison, jumping around like I usually do, if Harrison does see visions of people, and who's he talking to? Wouldn't he talk to Hannah? It makes sense. Yeah. He was with Hannah. I mean, I just don't understand why Hannah hasn't been. I don't know. I'll jump off the Hannah train here because I know probably people are rolling their eyes. But yeah, Rita. I mean, if she comes back, it'd be great. I felt like that would have been announced already, but hopefully we have. Max Adams. I was wrong with the last name. Unbelievable. I got it wrong. Usually I'm pretty good, but yes, Max Adams. He was in it for, I believe, 2 episodes.
At the same time, he was doing Breaking Bad around the same time. So that's fun.
I know. I think it was right before he did Breaking Bad, because Dexter season 2 was in 2007 and he didn't come in.
You might be right. Yeah.
And Breaking Bad started. It might have been right before he did Breaking. He went on from taking his suit cut off to being, Saul Goodman's cleaner.
I forget that me watching it on DVD isn't the time that it aired. So you're probably right there.
But rehashing things I talked about before. I mean, if it's announced that he is a killer to the population, we need to see reactions to Aster, Cody, Detective Matthews, or probably retired Matthews by now. Quinn. I do think we will see Quinn and Masuka. I think it will be a scene where Batista calls one of them, and then we see them for like 5 seconds. I don't think they'll have a big role in this show, but at least the first season. But maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because we need to see, or we need to hear.
We had plenty,
but not,
of it.
Just in Original Sin. Yeah, it wasn't as good though. Gotta hear C.S. Lee do it. I mean, that's what the fans want. I would be shocked, and we all heard what, I assume you heard what Desmond Harrington said when he was on when they were doing the watch the long thing with the Molly Mary fucking Kill chick, where she's like, so Dexter Resurrection's coming up. I'm not saying a fucking thing, so I assume he'll be back, hopefully. And yes, another character that I forgot about. We need to see Michael Soderquist again, but I don't know how old he is right now. He may be pretty old. He was a background character that was in like 70 episodes of Dexter. He always had a polo shirt on. He was always in the briefing room. He needs to come back as like an Easter egg.
Yeah, I think what I hope to see is like I'm. People aren't going to like me for this, but I don't want to see fan service. I'd like them to tell a story first and not be so driven by, look, a person that you like, a thing that you'd like to see happen. I'd like to have it make sense. Dexter is doing really bad shit. You're going to have to explain like how he's alive still and bring that back. I think like if it's something as simple as Angel bringing him back and them having that conversation in the hospital and Dexter ducking out, have the season split where Angel's going back to speak to all the people that used to work with them at Miami and like, you know, tracking down all of Dexter friends, relatives, all that. Like, have him be a detective and, you know, make it feel like there's something at stake. And not just, oh, Dexter's free to kill whoever he wants again. Like, I'd like to feel like instead of just getting killed at the end, he might get in trouble. Like, I haven't really felt that in such a long time, and it's kind of frustrating. So I'd like to have it make sense more than be happy with the faces on the screen.
I guess I forgot to preface, we talked about this before we went live, but I want these characters that are fan service to actually mean something too, not just 3 or 4 seconds of other than Soderquist would be a nice quick Easter egg. We don't have to have him all that much, although it'd be cool if he's like the new lieutenant of Miami Metro, but he'd be probably too old for that. But yeah, I agree with you. I want these, what we get to mean something. I want questions to be answered. They need to make this good. They can't just put some bullshit explanation together. They need to make it good. And who the hell drove Dexter is really driving me nuts, because like it's obviously not Angela, because I would think they would showed us if it would have been Angela in Original Sin, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she just wasn't available at the time and now she is. But obviously something happens to Angela because she's not around, or they just couldn't get her back and they have to kill her off screen too, like they did to Hannah.
If it's what's his face with the coffee, like that's going to be something of a bummer. The cop who had 5 lines, who I've already forgotten his name. Yeah,
Teddy, David Magaloff.
Yeah, like he's alive, and the other police officer at that station, but
yeah, the doofus, one of the pointless characters. I call him the most pointless character in Dexter.
The most point. Well,
if you watch New Blood again and analyze it, he does nothing. He's an imbecile. Like, I know most of the people at Miami Metro are imbeciles, except for Dokes. Dokes was like the smartest one of them all. No offense to Batista, but there's not a lot that he figured out on his own, other than like figuring out that Brian Moser might be, or Rudy Cooper might be in a mental ward.
He
or
had to
get
attacked out for that.
Yeah, but other than that, after that season, Batista got kind of dumb as the seasons went on. Masuka was smart, but all this stuff happened right under their eyes, and they didn't, or under their nose, I should say. Lundy and Dokes, in my opinion, and Dab too, were the smartest ones at Miami Metro. Well, I guess LaGuerta too.
That was the thing, like what made season 6, 7, I don't know, parts of 8, the fact that she had such a struggle with something that Dexter very clearly didn't. Like, she had very heavy emotions about this because she had strong feelings for Dexter, but also she kind of understood and believed why he was doing the thing. Like that inner struggle, that conflict, that is something of a gem for those seasons that I really don't go back to very often. So You can have both. You can have fan service and tell a good story, but you have to do a little extra work. You can't just say here's something you want to see. Here's my paycheck. See you next week. Don't do cliffhanger shit. How about you plan ahead because you know people are going to watch this. It's kind of frustrating that if anything, I guess the most recent the prequel season, they've learned that all right, maybe we shouldn't have such a finality to the ending, and leave spots or opportunities open unless they are ready to just outright Breaking Bad it. I think they really need to leave space open and challenge themselves because their endings of late haven't been working very much.
Well, I mean, compared to season 8, New Blood is atrocious. So, I unfortunately I don't have much faith in them. I feel like they put this together really quick, and we're going to get something that's half-assed. But hey, I want to be proven wrong. I want to go into it, and that's another thing T. Parker just brought up in the chat. Are we getting the opening intro? I hope to God we get an intro of instead of just a title screen. I want a new intro or similar to what we got in the original Dexter and original Sin. But I just don't think that they'll do good, and I want to have a ranking video where I say Dexter Resurrection is my number 3 awesome season. Probably will be or Dexter Resurrection season 1, I should say. Probably will be towards the bottom, but I hope that I'm wrong.
All right. With that, what do we fear we're going to see? Because I think it's just more of the same. But, fan service, a really crappy, I don't know, cliffhanger ending that just has people more puzzled than anything. They're going to rush the last 20 minutes of the season. That's what I fear we're going to see. I fear we're just going to have, keys jangled at us. That's what I feel like. I'm afraid that's what this season is going to be.
I'm going to go into it thinking that's going to happen. That way, if it doesn't happen, I won't be, or if it does happen, I won't be as angry and, make a Cody Leach style rant that gets like a shit ton of views on YouTube. I'm telling you, this is going to be pretty popular with it being on Netflix, and it's off Netflix at the moment now again, but it was on Netflix. More people got introduced to Dexter for the first time, and then Original Sin was quite popular, surprisingly. So I think we're going to get potentially a lot of like lame answers to questions of Angela Bishop. Oh, she's at a conference right now, or she's not. She's just going to get kind of written off the show or killed off screen. How Dexter isn't like how he spins things, so they think he's not a killer. I don't see how Batista wouldn't connect all the dots at this point, but maybe Dexter has he does have a lot of explanations for something. So I feel like there's going to be a dumb explanation where Batista, deep down, La Pasión, is in love, loves his friend Dexter again, and it's let's go to the club and have a few. I don't know if he does that anymore, but that would be kind of funny.
Yeah, I feel like the excuse Dexter gave to Angela in New Blood that I was just tired of all the death. Like that's a very sociopathic thing to say, because a normal human being would kind of want to escape their life if that much terrible was happening around them. I think if he uses that excuse again with Angel, at the very least, it might be tolerable. But considering what they showed in the trailer of the accusation that's made, or the I don't know, the question made by Angel to Dexter, I don't think that leaves a possibility for that type of response.
I prepare to be upset.
Yeah. And like how crummy is that? Like the fact that the prequel series wasn't, everyone didn't fall over each other and give it praise, but it's well received, and I would say it's just kind of mid-tier. Like they don't have to try that hard to get fans happy, so just don't fuck it up. Like how hard is it to fuck things up? Apparently not that hard.
Hopefully they've learned by now. I mean, when this show ends, I'm guessing they'll have a happy ending now for Dexter and he'll end up on some tropical island with resurrected Hannah McKay or Lumen Pierce or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they got in store for us, but hopefully it's something that we all collectively will like. I'm sure there's going to be haters no matter what ending they do or how they end a season, but hopefully they have something good in mind. I have my thoughts of what I think the season will end with, and I hope it happens because that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I've had people call me a hater, and like I feel like it's one thing to be a loyal fan. It's another thing to, expect some quality, some challenge from your art. Like I guess I'm a hater, but I'm right there for the next thing. So like I'm punishing myself by that standard. So yeah, like T. Parker Evans says, third time's a charm. Can Resurrection save the franchise? Is there a chance that this season could be good enough that people are like, all right, you know what? I forgive you for the last however many seasons of torture you've put me through.
I think it can. I'm just not confident that it will. Or maybe it'll be not terrible, but more mediocre. Like, okay, this was okay, but come on, you can do better than this. How much time have you guys thought about this? And this is the best that you came up with? I mean, you and Cody talked about a stream for an hour and had a better ending than they came up for, or maybe it was longer than an hour. I can't remember the exact time length of it, but it was, something that you guys thought of probably the night before. I know Cody said, and just put it to where it was way better than what we got in New Blood with that Brett Harrison killing his dad, or at least we thought killed his dad over a coach that he just met within the last month, 2 weeks to a month. I don't know what the time frame is, but it wasn't long that he knew Coach Logan. Even though Coach Logan was a nice guy, like, really, you're that upset about it to kill your father? Like, come on, common sense here. It's your fucking father, even though he abandoned you. But
yeah, that he walked across the planet to reunite with. So I don't know. When you go back and look at like the way he treated the school shooter, and it just doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, that's why I have to be cautiously optimistic with everything that they do on this show. And just remember the good times if they can't replicate them. Like, oh, season 1, awesome. Season 2, awesome. Season 4, awesome. Season 7, I think is pretty good. Season 8, it's okay. Season 5 is, I think, pretty good. I know you would disagree or put it towards the bottom more, but I think there's some things that they did on that season that were good. And then we have this shitty seasons that I can just kind of forget about and think of the good ones.
So moving forward, what are some of your bold predictions for Resurrection? Okay. Easy for you to say.
All right. Now, I don't know any spoilers. So if this happens, I'm just a smart guy that thought of I thought of what they were going to do. But I think this show, we're going to get, I think, different. We're going to follow Dexter, Batista, and Harrison. And I think they're going to implement what they were going to do with the Harrison spinoff show. And this, at the end of the season, Harrison will die. Somebody will kill Harrison, and that will set Dexter on a path.
I don't hate that. Like, I really don't hate that. Because you get rid of an annoying character. Yep. And you give Dexter some sort of conflict to actually, like, he lost his wife and whatever. He lost his sister and whatever. Like, have that like fatherly instinct and I don't know, seek vengeance, have it be taken, but in the Dexter universe.
And it might not happen in this season. They might do it like next season. But I think ultimately Harrison will die, and I think that would be a good way to end this season because I don't think a lot of people like Harrison anyway. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Be bad if you bring Aster and Cody back and they kill. They kill.
I would be okay with that as long as Aster and Cody come back. I'll mark out because Aster is one of my favorite characters, and we know that Cody absolutely loved Dexter. Mm-hmm. The two different Codys they had, the season 1 Cody and then the Cody that played him for the rest of the show. Mm-hmm. They loved Dexter. Aster, I think, got to love Dexter, especially when he helped out her friend and, with the abuse that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do need to see them for a brief time period to, get a reaction from them. But that would be cool if Dexter ends up teaching them the code. Kind of weird, but
ooh, yeah, I don't hate that.
See, that's what I like about season 8. Like a lot of people, and I don't know what I can't remember. I've heard your thoughts before, but sometimes it's hard to keep track of everybody's thoughts. I like the whole like Dexter teaching Zach Hamilton the code and Zach Hamilton actually following the code. But then, of course, we find out that Zach Hamilton is dead, which sucked. But the whole serial killer like meet up where Dexter, Hannah, and Zach Hamilton are at that hotel, and then Deb shows up to arrest Hannah. Like, I like all that stuff that happened. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I just like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if
there's just a certain point where it's like, how many people is he going to share this precious secret with? Where like it seemed like, if not every season, every other season at a certain point, Dexter was sharing this precious little set of rules that only one person can know. Actually, only 2. Actually, only 7 people. All right, anyone who gets in touch with me can know this secret. It was it was a lot more than a little. It was quite frustrating where, like, it was just like 4 people at the same time knew Dexter's secret. And it's just like, is it really a secret at this point? I think one of my bold predictions, and I think this is more dread than anything, is I think there's a chance that all of this is happening in Dexter's mind while he's in a coma. And
it's possible.
Like he's just like in between and or dead, and someone pulls the plug, and that's the end of the series. It's a way to cop yourself out of it and just have him be, I don't know, on life support for some reason, and all of these are just hallucinations or something.
It's possible. A lot of people have theories that when Dexter was in the cell before he killed Logan, he has his last conversation with Deb. Well, I guess he talked to her when he died, but like they think that he was out since then and he'll wake up from that moment. But I don't know. That will piss off the fan base again. So I hope they don't go that route.
Do it.
I feel
if it'll piss off the fan base, they'll do it.
I think this ending, whenever it ends, will be a happy ending, where Dexter will be alive somehow, some way, which doesn't make sense that he would be alive, but that would be the ending that most people at this point, they've already killed him. They've already had him disappear for a while. So I think the next route would be have him have a happy ending. And, I've already said what I think should happen with Hannah, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like something that I don't know if should do, but something they could do is have him like as a villain. Like if you think about just what he's responsible for in Florida and have people find out, like you said, having all these characters that we've known and loved for 8+ seasons find out through the news that Dexter is responsible for all this shit. Like have it be like a nationwide manhunt. That would be an interesting twist. Although I think the tone of things would go in a different direction where like suddenly he's on the run, he's got to hide. People know who he is, and like, I don't know. It would be a much different format than the first couple of seasons, but
I could see that happening. But like you said, it would be a completely different show because are we going to get really Dexter to, kill somebody in every other episode or something like that? It would be him on the run and people from Miami and the feds trying to find him. I think that could work. I just don't know if they're going to go that route, but maybe they might. It's possible. Hopefully we know what direction they're going to go after this season's over with. If of course they're going with another season, which they've kind of confirmed, but you never know. It might be misdirection too. Like, this is actually the end.
The last couple of seasons, the amount of people that have been watching, they'd be dumb to not at least have their door open for another one. You brought it up earlier. Shit, I forgot that.
I brought up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going with it. I apologize. I completely drew a blank. So if anyone in the chat has any questions to anything that we were talking about, I guess now is the time we'll open the floor up. And I'm trying to remember exactly what I was talking about because it was something that you brought up and I put it in the back of my head and it's gone, but hopefully it'll get jarred loose. If anyone in the chat has questions or comments or anything, go on.
I have a couple other theories actually that I forgot to read off here that I had as kind of notes.
Okay.
It's possible, this real quick, it won't take long, that Uma Thurman and Kristen Ritter's characters are related to other characters we've seen in the past. That could be something that happens. for people who have theorized that Charlie, Uma Thurman's character, is related to either Hannah or Rita. And there's a lot of people are thinking that Kristen Ritter's character, whose name I believe is Maya or Mia Lapierre, is related to Lila somehow, which French versus English, I don't know. But I would actually, Lila coming back as a hallucination would be awesome.
Pardon my tits.
Yeah, love Lila's character. That's actually probably my 5th favorite character, Lila. Zoe Kruger, one of the best villains for Dexter, the episode villains, season 4, episode 4, Dex Takes a Holiday.
Oh, yeah, the cop, right?
Yep, the female cop. That was a good episode. That's the episode where Lundy dies too.
Yeah, no one's talking about SA. Who's bringing up SA? No one's talking about SA.
I talked about that.
One earlier, of my wife's. But... No. I don't say the. My wife always recites that line where she's like, "Are you gonna SA me?" He's like, "No one's talking about SA. Who's talking about SA?"
Oh, okay.
It's that episode where that exchange happens.
Okay.
He doesn't say SA. He says the R word.
Yeah. Oh, that's when she's on the table. And,
yeah.
Are you gonna diss me?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna kill you.
No one's talking about that.
It went over my head for a second there, but now I get where you were going with that.
Well, yeah, the missus, that's one of our favorite exchanges, and she quotes it quite a bit.
Great episode. One of my favorite episodes of the series. Top 4 or 5 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fact that Lundy died.
Season 4 is very, very strong.
I mean, you got probably the 3 out of the last 4 episodes arguably are easily top. The Thanksgiving episode, which I'm forgetting what the name of it is now all of a sudden. Hello, Dexter Morgan. Obviously, Getaway or The Getaway, the finale, which, that's why I think hopefully if Harrison dies at the end of the season, hopefully they can kind of duplicate what happened in The Getaway and have Dexter, like, have him feel that feeling again with now his only biological son, unless him and Hannah actually had a son and he didn't know about it.
So if someone's related to Rita, it would need to be like a distant cousin or something, because if like it's a sister or aunt or niece or something, like he would have heard about this person or met this person because they were married, no?
It's television.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to give an explanation. Sure. They can just throw things together. I don't think that's really going to happen, but I've seen some videos where I think I've seen a couple where people think that Kristen Ritter is going to be related to Lila somehow, which, okay, I'm all for it. I hope he sees Lila too as kind of a callback to give us a little bit of fan service, but I don't think it's going to happen, but just I wanted to bring up everything that I've heard that may happen in the show.
Yeah, the community gets a little conspiracy theory-ish at times, where it's like, okay, we need to expand. Like, everyone can't know everyone else, but some of them are fun. I won't lie. But yeah, I guess at some point, if you were responsible for eliminating hundreds of people, at some point someone would probably seek revenge on you. So it does make sense. It's just
and also with Charlie's character, she apparently might have something to do with special ops at some point, and they think there's going to be a connection to James Dokes somehow with that too. So what we think will happen with Dokes and Dexter, we might not even see that. It might be a flashback to Uma Thurman and Eric King having a scene potentially together. But
Eric King still looks fantastic. Like, he could probably absolutely play him in a flashback still.
I want to, and I hope, I don't think they'll do this, but when Dokes eventually comes into Original Sin, because that's got to be one of the things that they have to do before the show ends, I wouldn't be opposed to him playing Dokes again. Probably won't happen, but I don't think there's anybody that can say, surprise motherfucker, better than he can.
Yeah, just spend a little extra money and de-age him if you have to, but let him play him.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we hear him in every episode. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's probably going to be a quick cameo, and then we'll forget about him. But hey, that's one of the reasons why I like the finale of season 7 so much, is he randomly pops up again. So,
oh right, there was a flashback in that too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he hallucinates him at first, and then there's a flashback. So, him coming back, I think, is a positive. I'm surprised they didn't use him in New Blood. It's surprising, like they some people said that the truck driver that drives Harrison to the place, the Kurt's place, I want to say, or wherever he goes, they said that's Eric King. It was not Eric King, but I'm surprised he didn't come back for New Blood.
People get a little aluminum hat with things where it's like, okay.
Yeah. Got to be realistic for some of this stuff. I think if they were going to use Eric King, we would know it was Eric King. That would be like major point of discussion. Like, hey, we got surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, like you'd have him play someone else or something, and I mean, I don't think they're against bending things to get a certain actor in there. So, I don't know. Do you know how many episodes is this season? 10 or 13? Because that's usually
10.
Is it 10?
10 with. I'm sure you already know. There's going to be 2 episodes right away.
Ooh, I don't hate that.
The first 2 episodes will be right away. Now, there's a chance they might take a week off, like they did at Original Sin, but that hasn't been confirmed yet. So the finale would be the 5th or 6th or September. But 2 episodes right away. And for those of you that watch it on Paramount Plus, I get to watch my episodes. I know it's changed, like Paramount Premium now. I don't think it'll change, but I've been able to watch the episodes Thursday nights at 11. Maybe it's 11:01 Central Time. That's on YouTube, the YouTube Paramount Plus version. So for those of you that like to watch it right away, like I do, so
that's interesting.
I feel like, I'm not necessarily a small channel anymore, but I was a small channel. I always try to be first. Now that might hurt the quality of the video, but I always try to be first as fast as I can. Like adjust my sleep schedule, knowing that there's going to be a new episode of Dexter that night. So I usually see the episodes on the Paramount Plus YouTube channel because I have YouTube Premium at 11 o'clock Thursday nights. So
that's awesome. Wait, so Paramount Plus is included in YouTube Premium?
You could just search Paramount Plus on YouTube and you could get it through there. And I believe right now, if you haven't used it before, it should be 99 cents for the first 2 months, 99 cents each month. So cheap for 2 months. That's
$2 for most of the season. That's quite a deal if you ask me. Unless it sucks, then you wasted $2.
Well, I mean, it's more Dexter, so hopefully. I mean, I feel like with Dokes coming back, it should at least be worth him coming back, hopefully for longer than 10 seconds, but I feel like we can get him long. That's the thing with my complaints about New Blood. They announced that John Lithgow was coming back for New Blood, and he literally was in the show for like 10 seconds. Like,
they didn't even have a speaking line. He just it was like a flashback. Did
he not have a speaking line? I don't recall if he did or not. I thought he might have said something to Baby Harrison.
I thought it was like, if it was like a.
Yeah, it wasn't much. It was like 2 seconds,
sentence, if that.
I think he said something to Harrison, and Harrison somehow remembered it. Which
it's like Harrison's POV and I don't think it's anything more than a sentence.
No, it was like they're there. Or
something like that. Like talking to a baby to like. It certainly wasn't a conversation. That's for sure. I don't know. It feels like Harrison did speak to Baby Harrison. Okay. Thank you, Crazy Coffee Man. I just am worried at the amount of name actors and the amount of stuff they're throwing at us. Knowing as much as we do without seeing anything yet, it feels like they're trying to make every episode a big deal. And I don't know. If you had candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it sounds like a fun idea, but at a certain point, you're going to be a little sick. So
they want the money coming in. This is going to be the biggest show on Showtime. Like, they're advertising it. Do you know who threw the first pitch out the Mets game on Saturday?
Was it Michael C. Hall?
No, it was David Zayas.
Oh,
he threw out the first pitch of the Mets game. So, I mean, they're promoting the shit out of this show. And with all the people that watched it on Netflix, the first 8 seasons at least, I think it's going to be a big deal, and hopefully it delivers. I'm obviously cautiously optimistic is my phrase with this show, but I mean, they're running out of ways to piss me off now. Like, now I'm just expecting stuff to happen. So, but I I've always said this: if Hannah McKay shows up, whether it's a hallucination or she's still alive, or she kills Angela Bishop, and that's how, and she's the one that drives Dexter to the hospital, it could happen. I mean, who's to say? And this probably won't happen, but let's say Hannah, they were on to Hannah in Argentina. The feds were after her, so she somehow either convinced Harrison to play along, or made Harrison somehow think she was dead of pancreatic cancer. And that's her escape, and she's been watching Dexter ever since then. I don't know. That's probably a stretch, but I feel like there's an easy way to bring that character back, whether she's a hallucination for Dexter or Harrison, or she's still alive and eventually might be at Dexter's table, possibly.
Yeah, I don't think that's an atrocious idea. Crazy Coffee Man says, I hope we can only hope the writing is spectacular. I think the one thing, they've fucked up an ending twice. I think, if anything, take your time with how you close this out. Plan for it, because I don't know very many loyalists that would come back after a third time fucking up. Like this is your chance. If it needs to be an extra 4 seasons, fine, but figure out how to do it right when you close it out, because you can't be a laughingstock for 3 finales.
Like T. Parker said, third time's a charm.
I think don't end it.
I think they've messed up the show 1.5 times. I think season 8's ending, Dexter's a story of tragedy. So Dexter, everybody's dying around him. So his only way to cope with this, he tried to kill himself, but it didn't work out. Somehow he survived the hurricane. So next step is just to go away. And
do we know he tried to kill himself?
That's what he intended to do. That's what he intended to do, but he survived somehow. They said that in one of the episodes. I think it was for New Blood. So
what they show us at the end there doesn't corroborate with that. If he was trying to kill himself, he'd just die in the water. Although that's the second time he was left in the water and somehow made it out. What was that, season 6?
Travis Marshall. Yeah. The Ring of Fire thing.
He's got some incredible boat insurance. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Very true.
So, J-Dev, thanks for joining me with this. What do you have coming up in the future over on your channel?
Well, obviously, I'm most known for Dexter content, my UFC fight reactions, and my Walking Dead content. Yes, I know I still like The Walking Dead, although I'm starting to finally get worn out with all the different shows that you have to watch for it. Starting in mid-August, I'll be covering Supernatural as a first-time watch. That's going to be a long haul.
Series, yeah.
15 seasons, 327 episodes. I intend to start covering Mr. Robot, another show I haven't seen. The Shield, which I've already seen, but I want to revisit it because I haven't watched it since the initial time. And if Cody ever wants to do a 31 on 31 TV show edition, I know he talked about The Shield. Got to refresh myself with that. That way I actually participate and leave comments on everybody's video for that stuff, which I usually don't. I watch all the videos, but
you are not going to get 31 television series watched by half of the crew, let alone all of them.
Well,
it's a lot. It's a lot of content.
I don't need to rewatch Dexter. I think I got, other than Max Adams, I said Max Griffin. I pretty much got all my facts there, unless I misspeak. But I do need to refamiliarize myself with The Shield because I need to find out where that ranks on my all-time favorite TV shows. So I'll be doing that video, top 50 favorite shows of all time, on my birthday, which is August 2nd. Barring anything. I haven't filmed it yet. Usually I have videos done like 2 months in advance, but that one hasn't been filmed yet. Yeah. I put too much time into recording videos, but at least I have time to, something comes up where I can take a break for a week or 2.
Yeah, I don't think that far ahead.
So, looking forward to my Dexter Resurrection reviews. I'll get it up as soon as possible and maybe do a live stream, maybe try to figure out OBS and see if it's something that I can do on a regular basis and talk to all the fans. Obviously, if I do something, I'll let you know. I'll let T. Parker know. Me and T. Parker did a Scream stream talking about our love of the Scream franchise and what we think is going to happen in Scream 7, which it's crazy that both Dexter Resurrection and Scream 7 were filming at the same time. That's why they're copying each other's ideas with all these dead killers coming back.
Is Scream 7 not coming out in 2025, right? It's coming out in 26?
At the moment, it's coming out in February, but I feel like they may change the release date to October of this year because there's like a bunch of stuff that moved away from October, and there's room for them to make money in October. I feel like if they can get everything done, which it doesn't take a lot for that film, they can get the trailer ready. They could do October, but maybe they won't.
Yeah, because Saw 11 pushed.
So did the Michael Jackson movie that was supposed to come out.
Was that very scary one? Was it the thriller story that
I don't know. I just heard like a bunch of stuff that they were worried about got pushed away.
Yeah,
and right now they'd be competing with Cat in the Hat, and that's probably going to do better. So
different audience.
I would prefer they do it in October, but that might be too soon possibly for them. We'll see though.
Yeah, I would assume we would have had a trailer. Well, actually, you know what? July's the big month. If they have a teaser or something, if it pops out in the next 4 weeks, it's possible.
I think they ended filming in April, so post-production for that movie shouldn't take too long. I know Marco Beltrami, or I don't know if that's to pronounce Marco something. He was talking about, I'm back and I'm working on the score right now. So
composer, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and those of you who are in the chat, thank you for joining along. Thank you to the newest channel member. I have Dexter content that is strewn about as far back as New Blood and seasons ranked up until prior to New Blood, so I really need to update that at some point. I don't know what'll be happening as far as this season is concerned moving forward. If anything, it'll probably be a stream format, maybe, I don't know, at the quarter mark, unless something extravagant happens and I'm just that either wowed or pissed off. I don't know what will happen as far as Dexter Resurrection and myself is concerned. But thank you so much for watching and
anytime
and taking part. And until next time, for JDev, I have been Charles, otherwise known as Sipo. Tonight's the night.